Hello, everybody, and welcome to the It Just Works podcast. I am your host, Ryan, and I just want to say thank you for joining us today. We have a very fun episode for you. Please stay tuned for the whole thing to find out what episodes are going to be coming out soon, and let's just get into it. Cue that intro. We're going to be talking about the good old Xbox showcase from Thursday. We were recording this on Saturday. I'm joined with Alex. How you doing today, man?
Good. How are you, Ryan?
I am fantastic. I'm excited to do this, to talk about the good, the bad, and most definitely the ugly. Obviously, we're going to start off with the bulk of the showcase, and that will be Halo Infinite. I'll go ahead and say that I absolutely love what I saw. But there is definitely a lot in between those lines where they need to work on the graphics, the textures. The lighting is definitely iffy. We're talking about a game that's supposed to be meant for next-gen consoles. Even though I do really believe the game looks good for what it is, it's definitely not next-gen. I like a lot of what I saw. I like the guns. I think everything looks great in terms of guns. The Warthog looks flawless as always. Master Chief's armor looks great. Brohammer looks cool. The grunts, all the enemy units look great. Definitely some animations that need to be worked on in there. There's been a few memes flying around on the internet. One of the brutes.
The brute?
Yeah. Looks like Shrek and...
Get out of my swamp, Chief.
Yeah, get off my ring, Chief.
Donkey.
So yeah, that needs to be worked on for sure. But Alex, before I let you go, I think my biggest gripe with the whole Halo showcase is that it was 8 minutes long. I think for how long we've waited for this game to be shown, it was complete bullshit. Like, it's just unacceptable. 8 minutes is not enough. It should have been at least 30 minutes. This should have been a 30-minute showcase of Halo. 10 minutes, like a quick 25 kill 4v4 Slayer match. They should have showed 25 minutes of campaign, and they started off so strong. I was ready to see so much more of what we were getting into, and then for them to cut it off into this new villain, which does look super badass and sounds super cool. I gotta love a brute who's ready to just murder everybody. I just think they didn't listen to so many people. I mean, I've said so many times on this show that this needed to be the best version of Halo that they could have had. They're trying to sell consoles here, trying to sell people on Xbox, and even though I swear I do like what I saw, I still feel like they didn't do what they needed to do at all. But Alex, what are your thoughts on Halo Infinite?
I liked it. Just seen from 343 with the Master Chief Collection. I have faith in them still. It's still an unfinished version that they showed us. Of course, they could have showed us more. So, I would have liked to see 15 minutes of campaign gameplay and then 10 minutes of multiplayer. Maybe just showing off the maps. I would have been fine with that too. And then just show Forge or some other added things into the game. They could have done that for 30 minutes and everybody probably would have been happy. I mean, besides the people complaining about the graphics, but it's still an unfinished version of the game. So I don't know when they took it out and then for that gameplay, but they definitely could have showed a lot more.
Yeah, and when you say you have faith in 343, it's definitely the last 2 years of MCC where they've completely revitalized the entire game. And now looking at it today, like I said on my previous episode, Halo 1, a game that's almost 20 years now, just got weapon skins in it and vehicle skins. And there's challenges for it. So if you go play Halo 1 and you kill 300 grunts on Heroic with an assault rifle, you get a gold assault rifle. There's things that they've done to these games that no one would have ever even thought about doing 20 years later. So you're definitely right. I still have faith in them too, like you're saying. Right now, the double-edged sword to this showcase we got is this was meant to be shown at E3, right? So this is a build of the game for E3, but it was also running on a computer as well, so that's kind of disheartening. But my gripe with that, even though that is a good argument to make, like, hey, this just isn't a final product. This is months before launch, and obviously, these last few months before launch are fine tuning all of those animations, graphics, textures. I mean, you name it, everything. But they didn't do that even for the showcase. So it's kind of like, okay, well, now where are we at with launch? And that kind of worries me a bit. But this game, even though, like I said a little bit ago, should have been like 30-minute showcase, this is going to make us sell consoles, they still need this game to come out to sell any console. So I'm pretty sure we're getting it on time. It's just, is it worth it on time?
I would like to add one more thing. So this game's supposed to be more open world. So it's not like it's scripted for, like, let's say the original Halo game. So, like, once you get to a certain checkpoint, all the animations load right there. So, like, you can be coming in from any way, just like in Red Dead 2 or Skyrim. They had weird things when are supposed to show up and they don't load, or they get all wonky when they're trying to load. So there is that factor into it too.
No, that is very true. And I'd like to talk about the whole open world part real quick. One of my biggest requests for Halo has been open world, especially since we got a taste of it with New Mombasa and Halo 3 ODST. What you just said about the animations couldn't be more true. If I go launch Skyrim right now and I go into an area that's more focused on needing, like, heavily focused on loading, there's going to be animations all over the place screwed up. So I think when it comes to animations, it's not on the level of Andromeda at all. I think people are being a little nitpicky. Obviously, they're going to touch this stuff up, though. They're not ignorant. I mean, look what they've done to MCC. You can talk about it over and over again, but they are still, to this day, working their asses off to make that the perfect package for gamers. So I think you make a pretty compelling argument there. It's just like, hey, like, all these other big AAA games do it, and no one says shit. I mean, most people find it funny. I do. I think it's, like, the funniest shit. Those animations getting wonky is not that bad. I mean, I remember I was fighting a dragon in Skyrim, and my horse got taken away. Like, it didn't even make any sense. Those things happen. So obviously they're going to touch it up, like you're saying. It's not like they're just going to leave it alone. It's not an Andromeda experience at all.
Well, I mean, also look at it. They're trying to please the Halo community. I mean, they could keep on making like a Halo. They could make another Halo 5, where it's like, the farthest thing away from what the original Halos were.
Right.
But they're trying to get the new crowd and the old crowd. I mean, that's why you see the original animations of, or somewhat of the original animations of the enemies, like the Covenant. So they're trying, just give them a break.
Yeah, I think give them a break is a really good answer, because I couldn't agree with you more. They are trying so hard to please diehards like us, mid-level fans, and then brand new people to the franchise. Like, that is not easy to do at all. And this is one of the pickiest fan bases I've ever seen in my life. I mean, if the last couple days haven't proved that, then I don't know what does. And it's already been announced that there's variants of weapons. So the Magnum we see in the showcase is more aligned to the Halo 2 Magnum, and it fits that design perfectly. Apparently the original Magnum is still out there somewhere. It's not the end of the world. We only saw 8 minutes, and I can understand the argument, though, from the other side. But this is why there's so many complaints, because they showed only 8 minutes of shit. So it's... I'm very happy with what we saw. I really am. I think it's going to be an amazing game. I'm going to be super biased and go ahead and say it. The fact that I get an open world Halo, I immediately, I'm sold. I could care less. Breath of the Wild, it was like a spiritual reboot of gameplay and core mechanics to the franchise on the Switch and the Wii U, and that game has a lot of gimmicks, but it's still one of the best games I've ever played in my life. So there's nothing saying 343 can't knock this out of the park, or won't. I think they're off to an incredible start by bringing the Banished in from Halo Wars 2. Is easily one of the coolest factions we have since the Flood. They are just such a ruthless faction, so I'm excited to see where this story goes. We see in one of the trailers that there's a lot of deceased UNSC people or ships. So I'm really curious to see how much of the military is actually left after whatever fight that we lost. As they say, we lost 167 days ago. Um, I'm very hopeful for this game. I really am. I think there's still so much left that we get to see that people are going to be really blown away with. Real quick before I pass it over to you one more time before we move on, they did announce that all this equipment you see, like the grappling hook and the drop wall, it's going to be like Halo 3 again. So when we're playing the multiplayer, you have to pick it up. It's not
Hmm.
it's not a loadout. It's probably going to have an option for loadout in custom games and Forge, but the grappling hook's going to be on the ground and then you pick it up. The drop wall is going to be on the ground, just like the trip mines and the bubble shields. And I think that's a really good approach to it.
So, do you think it's going to be like a one-use thing for the grappling hook, or
In multiplayer,
like,
yes. I think
oh,
it's going
okay.
to be a couple uses, but if you notice in the campaign, when they press start, it shows upgrades for Chief. I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure we're going to be able to upgrade Chief's skill set. Like the grappling
Turn
hook's
him
going to.
into a scorpion tank?
Yeah, exactly. He's just a walking scorpion tank. Um, so that kind of has me really curious too because uh, I'm really excited to see what happens there with that. But I would look at this version of Halo, like we talked about too the other day, is like God of War, how they really changed a lot of what people knew and loved, and it worked out even better than anyone could have hoped for. You know, the third person view constantly over the shoulder. Just the gameplay in general is tweaked a little bit from the previous God of War games. I wouldn't even say a little bit; I'd say a lot of it, and it still worked out really well. I would just tell people to be more hopeful. I think we're off to a really good start. The critiques are very understandable, but they aren't nearly as bad as what we got with Halo 5, and that's how I would look at it. But Alex, is there anything you'd like to say before we move on from Halo?
Uh, just say that like you don't have to buy it. It's going to be on Game Pass too.
And you don't have to buy a
So
Series X. Project X Cloud comes out in September. If you really want, you just buy the membership and you can play it from your phone. So,
yeah, so and then look up the gameplay of the game when it actually comes out, and see if it changes your mind. Uh, and then like people complaining about the blocky graphics for like the basalt columns.
yep.
Um, this is the first Halo ring, right?
Yeah, it's the very first.
So there's obviously flaws with the first Halo ring with the Forerunners building it. So take it as you will. It's just one part of the world you saw. So
Yeah, one fraction of what we can potentially expect to see. There's
yeah.
definitely a lot more to look at. There was something else I wanted to add too, and I totally blanked on what it is. Dang it. It was something we talked about the other day, and we made a. Oh, so anybody watching this, if you only watch the stream, the quality was shitty. Go back and watch the on-demand video of the 8-minute gameplay. And let me tell you, we watched it on Alex's computer, and it looked so much better on YouTube on demand than the live stream. So please go do that too because it does look a million times better. Um, that's pretty much it for Halo Infinite. I'm very excited. I'm cautiously excited for it, but I don't think it's nearly as bad as everyone's trying to make it out to be. So we'll move on to Fable. I'm really excited for this announcement. I don't know why everyone's like freaking out. I feel like it was pretty obvious that we were going to get Fable at this point. They've only been teasing it for years now with Playground Games, but nevertheless, it's a good announcement for everyone who loves the franchise. For anyone who doesn't, it's an open world RPG that's somewhat linear at the same time. I don't know what they're doing. There's rumors right now that it's going to be an MMO, but we don't know for sure. Um, but there's not much going on in the trailer. But Alex, what are your first thoughts of just knowing that that franchise is coming back?
I'm excited to check it out. Like I said, I got Game Pass, so I'll be able to play it. But if Game Pass wasn't out, I would probably pre-order it until I saw more gameplay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I need to see a little bit more. No, I'm excited for it too. But if I'm being honest, just like you had said right now, uh, it's on Game Pass, so I get to check it out constantly. If I play it here and there, I still don't have to pay for it. So it is what it is. Either way, I'm going to play it. That's just where I stand with it. I really fucking love Fable 2. I thought that was one of my favorite 360 games. I spent so many hours into it, and then they released whatever DLC it was, and you can get the Halo assault rifle. They called it
Hmm.
Hal's rifle, just like the Hal's armor and sword from the deluxe edition of the game, which I never got. Sad day. Um, I'm excited to see a potential crossover like that again. I think they need to do that if they're trying to sell even more copies or consoles for Fable alone. I really do believe that pre-order bonus being like Hal's armor updated again for this new game would be a fucking home run. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. We're just gonna keep it to we'll keep moving on with Xbox's main titles right now. So we'll move on to Forza Motorsport. Cool. Like, yay. I'm super excited. I do play the games a lot, but this idea of showing in-game footage or in-engine footage is the dumbest shit in my mind. I really can't stand it, and I don't support it. It literally just showing cutscenes. Alex, though, you did say the other day that maybe because Forza Motorsport has always been graphically stunning, they weren't worried about showing gameplay yet. And it's a fucking motorsport game. We know what gameplay we're getting. It's not going to change. So that's a really good argument you made the other day. The only thing I would say still is I wish just a glimmer of gameplay would have been nice. They could have showed the dynamic weather they're going to have for sure. They're obviously going to have it. They had it in 7. Just something would have been nice. Just anything. I don't know, like one lap of a cool race. I don't know, maybe new tracks that they're adding that aren't in the previous games. But what are your thoughts? I know you're more of a Forza Horizon guy.
I was gonna say if it's not Horizon, I don't care.
And that's where we go with that. I mean, they didn't show anything either, so there's really not much to talk about there. So we're going to move on to uh, something I thought was a really cool announcement. I think it's time to move on to the third one. So State of Decay 3. They just showed a CG trailer, but I'm pretty sure this game is super early in development. It's probably only been in development for at least a year or so. For all we know, it could still be in post-production or pre-production. What do you think of the CG trailer? Besides the chick not wearing gloves when she clearly should have been.
Oh yeah, she would have lost a finger there, but it looks all right. I mean, that's the problem with zombie games. It's overdone now. Like that was, I think the last good zombie game for me was Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't really stand them anymore.
I can't really stand them either. There was like this like wonky, like goofy gameplay elements to State of Decay in general that kind of made it stand out for me. Plus the permadeath of your characters. I mean, if your character dies right there on screen, like that's it. Like goodbye. So they obviously added that kind of weight to the game. With State of Decay 2, they added co-op, and it was cool. You can access your own boxes from your campaign in your friend's world. Uh, I would say State of Decay 2 is like a solid like 6.5 out of 10. I'm actually really excited to see what they do with State of Decay 3, but we'll have to see what happens. The cool thing from the trailer though was literally a zombie deer eating a wolf. I thought that was like super badass because they actually don't have zombie animals in their games yet. So clearly it shows that they want to go for maybe a even more gritty direction with their games, and I think that's really smart because a lot of zombie games right now are just kind of like, well, the ones that we've had are still kind of like goofy or maybe not that serious. State of Decay 2 did kind of take it to a slightly more serious level. So if they can keep going down that road, I think that'd be cool. Either way, I'm excited to see what they do with the game. One of the things we're going to keep talking about through the show is that it is on Game Pass. So no matter what, I'm going to give it a shot. And that's pretty much where I stand with it. Is there anything else you want to say? Are you done with State of Decay 3?
Oh, I'm done with it. I'm good.
Okay. So we're going to move next to Rare's game, Hippie Everwild. Yeah, the Druid's Island, as you can call it. I think it looks okay. It's no gameplay. There's a bunch of rituals going on. Definitely a spiritual connection with the animals. I don't care about it. What are your thoughts, Alex?
If I was with some Cherokee chicks at the quad, I'd get this game, but it's a hard pass for me.
Yeah, just there's nothing about it that looks impressive. I mean, sure, the art style is cool. Some of the animations for these rituals they're performing are cool, but we have no clear direction of what the game actually is, and therefore I'm not really interested. I'm probably still gonna play it because I like to give every game a shot, but right now it's still like a hard pass on like actually like I wouldn't spend a dime on it. So sorry, Rare. Just go make Banjo Kazooie 3 and stop fucking with us. So next we're gonna talk about Tell Me Why, the stepsister stuck in a laundry machine simulator. It actually looks like an okay game. It's definitely focused on drama. If that's your sort of thing, it's personally not for me. But I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there of these kind of dramatic storytelling games. It looks good for that. That's pretty much it, though. I'm just waiting for the Pornhub music to start playing on the next trailer, so we know what they're really up to. Alex,
It's it's my it's my favorite category, so I'm definitely gonna get this game.
yeah, actually, I already have it pre-ordered. I have it. I have the Under the Bed special edition coming out, so I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, I mean, is there anything that caught your interest in the game, or is it just not your genre?
No, I don't really like storytelling games, to be honest. I mean, unless it has a gun in it, then I might get it. But
Right.
no.
It definitely does look like an adventure game, like a Telltale game. We don't know if it is, but that looks like the direction they're going for with that kind of storytelling. So I'm not particularly interested in that. It does look cool. So we're gonna move on to the Outer Worlds, Peril on Gorgon. Uh, I didn't finish Outer Worlds. I didn't think the game was bad or anything. I just got bored. I don't know if it was the art style or the weapon design, but I definitely kind of like lost interest into the game. The new DLC looks really cool though. I might give it a shot. Alex, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I played Outer Worlds quite a bit, but like you, I lost interest playing through it. Um, it's a fun game. Definitely want to try out the DLC. I really need to finish it. It's just never did.
Yeah, it. I might give it a shot, but it's just DLC, so it's nothing really to freak out about. Um, Although, if I am being honest, it is really cool that they're supporting it still, because they kind of launched it for the consoles and PC. It came out on the Switch, and it's kind of been it. So they haven't really said much. So it's really cool to see that they're still supporting this game. I think Obsidian is one of the best developers out there. I'm always excited to see what they do. So we're gonna move on to that. Something I'm extremely excited for, and I just found this out yesterday. But we're gonna talk about Avowed, a new first-person fantasy RPG being made by Obsidian. Um, yeah, we just got a CG trailer, but it still gave us enough ideas of the direction they're going towards. Alex, before I talk to you about it, or let you talk about it, I did find out that this actually takes place in the Pillars of Eternity universe. I didn't know that, so that definitely piqued my interest. But what are your thoughts on what we saw so far? Just the
Um,
concept of the game.
well, if I can shoot the arrow for 30 miles, I will definitely get it. But I'm excited about it. It's reminded me of Skyrim, like when he was down in the dungeon drawing the rune and everything.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited for because we haven't really had a really good um, RPG like that in a while
Yeah.
uh, that I've seen.
Yeah, and
But
if this could be like Obsidian's take on the Elder Scrolls franchise, just like they did New Vegas, I'll fucking cry. But go ahead, sorry.
yeah, well, I did learn that it was from Pillars of Eternity, so I just downloaded it on the Xbox and started playing it because I want to learn more about the world and where this is going to take place.
Right.
But I'm extremely excited for it.
Yeah, obviously this was just a CG trailer, but this is one of those announcements that I think you can get away with just that. They showed enough of the concept of the game. It's a fantasy RPG. all of us have played those a lot, so you should pretty much know what you're going to get. But still, the fact that Obsidian is working on this, like, is mind blowing to me. Like, I didn't expect this at all, and I'm extremely excited for this game. So we're going to move on to Psychonauts 2. The original one came out on the Xbox, the original Xbox back in the day. I never played it, never really caught my interest, but I will tell you, this music video trailer that they showed, it's a gameplay music trailer, but what they showed with like Jack Black singing and like the world and how trippy it looks, like someone was definitely on fucking acid as they were designing this world. I thought it looked really cool. Once again, this is a Game Pass title, so I might actually give it a shot just to check it out. What about you?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try it out. I mean, Jack Black and trippy stuff. That's those two go together like bread and butter. So like, I was getting vibes like Pick of Destiny.
Yeah.
Uh, so I'm definitely gonna get it.
And it looks cool. I'm excited to try it out. Double Fine Studios has been around for a really long time. The original Psychonauts is very well received. There's a huge fan base for it, so I'm excited to see that game come out and so many fans get their hands on it. We're going to move on to a really cool verbal partnership with Bungie again, and they're going to have a Series X version of Destiny 2 coming out, where it's going to be 4K 60 frames on the consoles, because right now it's only like that on PC. Alex said big whoop. But I think it looks cool. They have a new expansion coming out called Beyond Light. It looks pretty interesting. They are adding a fourth subclass where you use the darkness as your abilities. It looks interesting. However, Destiny's been out since 2014 now, and I think that time has come for that franchise with me personally. But the gunplay has always been fun, so I might give it a shot, but I don't really feel like grinding it out just to get a couple cool weapons and then go, okay, that was fun. So, yeah, Alex, is there anything you want to say about Destiny 2? I know it's like killing you to like just hold in whatever you're thinking.
Oh no, I just hate Destiny, so we can move on.
Okay. Destiny 2 sucks in Alex's eyes. Okay, so this is one of the badass trailers. I'm extremely excited to talk about this game. Didn't know there was a first one. But we're going to talk about Stalker 2. The trailer starts in Chernobyl. You see some aliens. You see some really creepy shit. I don't know a fucking thing about this game, but man, has it caught my interest. And this is another one just like Avowed, where they only showed a little bit, but it was just enough to get everyone hyped. And I think this is a really nice title. Alex, what are your thoughts on Stalker 2?
Stalker is like, I'd say Escape from Tarkov and Metro together. It is very fun. I'm excited for it because it's a freaking scary game going through it.
Yeah.
With all the aliens and the radiation monsters. I'm definitely gonna get it. I think you should try it out too. You probably have a blast.
Nah, man, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, you saying that it's like Metro and Escape from Tarkov had a baby. I mean, that's a really good way to put it, because Metro is I think an extremely underrated franchise. And then, I only saw you play like a very beginning of a match of Tarkov, but I've seen some gameplay of it too, and it does look like a really fun game when you're going through corridors and you're wondering if that's like your teammates, are those bad guys, just to see those kind of elements in this game with how dark everything is, and then once again it being Chernobyl, that's insane. I'm really, really looking forward to this game. Is there anything else you want to say on that, or are you pretty much good with Stalker 2?
No, you can get the old games on Steam. I'd suggest you try them out.
Yeah, I might go check those out, but anyone who hasn't played them, they're on Steam, so please go check them out. We're going to move on to yet another fucking amazing announcement. I am just so stoked for this. So it's Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide. What is it? What is it called?
Vermintide.
Vermintide. So that's the fantasy RPG version, or not RPG, but a fantasy action game. I don't even know how you would describe it. But anyways, it's like
Left 4 Dead.
It's like Left 4 Dead, but in a fantasy world. And it was just so much fucking fun. But now we have Dark Tide, which looks extremely creepy, but you have guns and shit. I don't know what's going on. I just know that I want it really bad. So, Alex, what are your thoughts on this announcement? Were you pretty excited for it?
Oh yeah. Like with Vermintide, I didn't really like fighting the I think they're the Skiva race. But this one, it looks like more of Nurgle's enemies,
Yeah.
which are kind of like zombies, but like demonic, corrupted people. I'd say like Doom, but
Yeah.
it looks very interesting, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think tell Justin to shut up. Um, I think the game looks great. It's definitely something that we needed. You know what's funny though is like I know we did like a episode on Thursday. It didn't work out, so we're re-recording today. But as we're talking about this right now, like there's still a pretty good amount of games announced. Um, would you say that so far with what we talked about, that you wish there was more gameplay, or are you actually pretty satisfied with like our recap so far? You're like, okay, there's a lot to look forward to.
I'm excited for it. Uh, I don't think they really needed to show gameplay because that would have been like way too long to stream
Hmm.
to keep everybody's attention.
Well, do you think
But
that'd be kind of misleading too, because a lot of these games are early in development? So would you say that you prefer what we got, the CG trailers, the logo? Because let's be honest, Avowed probably isn't coming out till next year or the 2020, 2022. And it just said right here that Darktide is for sure not coming out till next year. So I guess what I'm
I
kind of,
mean,
yeah, go ahead.
they did that at E3 anyways every year. So
They
this is
do,
just
yeah,
yeah. So this is just them catching up, I'd say,
yeah, that's
because
fair.
yeah,
Well, I was
because
just
they
thinking
were
of
probably gonna release all these back in E3,
right.
but they realized we have to do this now.
That's true.
So
Well, we're gonna move on to the best announcement of the entire show.
the gunk.
Probably, oh god, I was gonna say Tetris Effect connected, but I forgot there's something worse than Tetris. We'll get to Gunk next, but we're gonna talk about Tetris real quick. It says Tetris is alive and well, and a new version of entrant into the franchise will launch this holiday season. The game, called Tetris Effect Connected, will allow players from around the world to play simultaneously across what appears to be a very colorful and music-oriented Tetris experience. So I thought this was Tetris 99 the entire time we were watching it, which is available on the Nintendo Switch. It's basically Tetris Battle Royale. So I don't know what the hell's going on. I haven't given a fuck about Tetris since like the 90s. Alex, do you even give a shit about this, or is it cool? But you're like, it's just not for me.
Tetris has been out for 36 years. I just looked that up. So no.
Well, yeah, it's definitely been out for a long time. I'm only 27. I haven't been around long enough to play it, but yeah. So we're gonna move on to the Gunk, and the Gunk is being made by the amazing people that created SteamWorld Dig, which is easily one of the best 2D platformers in existence. Like that game is insane. I highly recommend it. It's on every single platform. Whatever your preference, please go play it. SteamWorld Dig. The first one is an outstanding game. It's basically Minecraft 2D with an amazing story in a steampunk world, and there's upgrades for your character. If you like mining, it's definitely the game for you. But Gunk, I don't think is the game for you. I think this game looks fucking stupid and I hate it.
Yeah, it looks like a mom cleaning up her kid's room who's going through puberty.
Yeah, man, I just like the fact that it wasn't like SteamWorld Dig 3 when they showed like, hey, this is from so and so. I'm a little butthurt, to be honest. It's not like these people can't work on different projects. Obviously, they want to. They don't want to keep making the same games. But I really don't like this game so far. I think the character model for the lady looks stupid as shit. Um, she doesn't look proportionate to the way they were trying to design her. I don't know. It just throws me off. I don't like the look of it. I still might check it out of respect I have for the studio, and it's once again going to be on Game Pass. But man, this game looks fucking ridiculous. That's pretty much where I'm leaving that. Alex, is there anything you want to say about the gunk before we move on to something smarter and better?
No, I'm not gonna get it.
Yeah, sorry guys, it just does not look good. Um, Once again, I'm like drawing a blank on the studio, but I love them so much, but this game just looks absolutely ridiculous. We're gonna move on to the medium, which is a survival horror game with two worlds. So there's dual worlds you can experience. One that looks like hell, and then one's just the normal world you're in. The best way I can put it, if anyone has played Titanfall 2, is there's a part in the campaign where uh, you have a watch that you put on, and you can literally press a button and you switch between dimensions. It looks like that. There's mainly CGI and some in-game footage. Nothing crazy. The game does look interesting. I still might give it a shot. Once again, it's a Game Pass title, so it ain't gonna hurt me. There's definitely a lot of fans out there for it, though. I think it reminded me of like The Suffering, Silent Hill, just a lot of those kind of games. So it's nice to see another survival horror game in that genre really kind of take form. Alex, what did you think of it?
Oh, it looks interesting. I'd say it's like a cross between Silent Hill and The Evil Within.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
Probably more evil
I would like
within.
to I would like to try it out, but scary games make me scared, so I try to
He's a
stay
pussy.
away for now.
Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it for me. We're gonna move on to a game that I don't think looks cool, but there's a ton of fans for this game, so I'm hoping that everyone's gonna like it that cares about the franchise. But this is a New Genesis Fantasy Star Online 2. My first thoughts is it looks it does. It looks stupid. I don't care about the way it looks. I think the animations are a little goofy here too, though, with the main character that they're showing in the trailer. Definitely something they need to work on there. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it, Alex?
I'll just play Monster Hunter World.
Yeah, like the monsters that they show in here don't look that interesting. Obviously, they have like a more tech look to them, kind of like Horizon Zero Dawn. Not on the level of Horizon Zero Dawn, because that'd be disrespecting that game. But they are different. But if I'm gonna hunt giant monsters, like it's either Shadow of Colossus or Monster Hunter. Like I don't. I've never played Fantasy Star, so excuse my ignorance, but I just don't think it looks that impressive. But good for Xbox though. This is a Japanese MMO, and they are trying to grab that audience. So good for them. I'm hoping that everyone that likes the game or franchise likes the game, and that's pretty much it for me on that. Um, we'll move on to what I thought looked really cool. Crossfire X. They showed a campaign trailer. It's supposed to be like a massive multiplayer game too. Massive wars. Like 30 on 30 and all that. But they showed a campaign trailer, and it was definitely on the level of like a Call of Duty experience slash Crisis with the suit that the guy has in the trailer. Alex, what are your thoughts on that so far?
It looks like a lot of fun. Reminds me of like Call of Duty and well, Crisis. Um, Maybe a little Halo in there too with the cool suit.
Yeah, it looks really badass. It's going to be a free to play title that will be available on Xbox Game Pass later this year, actually. So keep an eye out for that. It's made by Remedy Studios, the people behind Control and Alan Wake. So I would say the game's in good hands. I'm extremely excited to play it. It looks like a lot of fun, and I definitely think that's the direction they're going for, is a semi-serious but fun military shooter. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Alex? Or are you pretty much good to go?
I'm good to go.
So we're going to move on to if my computer would stop having a seizure.
As Dusk Falls.
Yeah, thank you. Woof. I'm not trying to be negative here, guys, but this game looks dumb. That's my review for the trailer.
I would say if you like story games, this is good for you. I mean, the art style is kind of weird. It's kind of like going between paintings, I'd say. Or like on an old RPG game where you like flip the book and like paint splatters everywhere and it shows the picture. That's how it's kind of playing out in the trailer. if you like story games, I would try it out. But if you don't, I wouldn't say the game's for you. But I'm not gonna get it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get it either. And just like Stepsister Simulator, it definitely looks like it's the game looks great if you're into that. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy completely. It does look like it's fun for those emotional, story-driven games, just pure story. I definitely feel like it's going to be a cinematic experience for anybody who's interested in it. It's just not my cup of tea necessarily. So keep an eye out for that. What are we missing? I mean, there's other stuff here, but it's already been announced, and it wasn't part of the showcase. That's pretty much it. I mean, I feel like we went through everything real quick. Sea of Thieves and Ori Will of the Wisps and Gears of War 5 are going to have Xbox Series X upgrades. For instance, Ori Will and the Wisp will be running at 120 hertz and a very good looking 4K, as they claim. It already looks good now, so I don't really know what else they can do to that. So Alex, for the showcase overall, what would you say was what would you say really like stood out to you, and what would you have changed?
Um, I would say change. Like they should have shown a little bit more gameplay. They just showed 8 minutes of gameplay for one game.
Yeah.
Um, Everything else was mostly just a trailer. Uh, well, I guess Everwild showed some gameplay, but I'd say more gameplay, especially for Halo. Um, but what stood out to me is Halo, Fable. I'm just scrolling through here,
Yeah.
trying to remember. Avowed, Psychonauts, and Stalker, and Warhammer. Those are the games that stood out to me the most that
Yeah.
I will personally get and play.
Right. I pretty much agree with that list too, and yeah, I would just say to finish up on the actual showcase itself is that I still believe it should have been an hour and a half long and 30 minutes strictly dedicated to Halo. That's what they've done at previous E3 presentations, so I understand that it's different times for everyone right now because of what's going on in the world, but I don't know if that's much of an excuse when you're talking about something you could have done separately. Obviously, I'm not in game development, I'm not in marketing, so I'm not going to tell them how to do their jobs. It's just something I would have liked to see. But I would say overall, the showcase was a 7 out of 10. I think they did a really good job. I just think there's obviously things they could have done better with. But that's pretty much it for me on that. Um,
Oh, I'd like to include one more thing. And we don't know. They might have had everything, had to scrape everything together because, everybody's working from home. So, it's not a room full of people. It's everybody on the computer. And, I've played D&D online, and it's not as good as in person, I'd say, too. So,
right. And I would say, obviously things change. But I guess it's because I don't know if it was the Halo 5 E3 reveal. Oh no, it was the Halo Infinite reveal, I think. There's some VDoc out there somewhere, and it's basically explaining how 343 was working on E3, or actually E3 as a whole, last year. God, I'm drawing a blank, but somehow there was behind the scenes, and they were working on it for like 6 months before June. So 6 months before June, COVID wasn't the way it is now, where everything was locked down. So that's why I think I was being a little bit more critical of what we got. But once again, things change. As you just said, playing D&D over Skype, it is not nearly as fun or as easy as just being in person. So I would say, once again, for what they gave us, I'm very happy. I'm just excited to see what's next, to be honest.
I do agree.
So, yeah, so thank you guys for listening to the show. The next couple episodes, I will be doing a Halo Infinite episode later in the week, and then we have, if it still works out, a special movie episode on a certain fighting game franchise. We'll see how that goes. But please keep an eye out for that. And then in 2 weeks, you can expect the Star Wars episode to finally come out. We are going to be talking about episodes 4, 5, and 6. Some of the best movies made, but we might...
Best Star Wars.
Yeah, the best Star Wars. but we also might murder them at the same time. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Ryan and Alex, thank you for joining, and this is the It Just Works podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.